What's up, YouTube, and welcome to today's vlog. Today we're going to be talking about some do's and don'ts when you want to get into the automotive field. I'm not going to lie, this is the second time I shot this video. The first time I used a lot of trademarked names, so my wife's like, you probably shouldn't mention people's names, so I got to reshoot it. So first things first, you decide you want to be an auto mechanic, you want to work on cars, or work on trucks, diesel trucks, whatever you want to do. You obviously need to get some sort of schooling, have basics before you get into the field. There's some big dollar schools out there. I mean, they'll teach you how to be an auto mechanic, but man, it's going to cost you. And I don't think they give you the education you think you're going to get, and they don't give you what they kind of say they're going to give you. I went to a big dollar school. I was kind of sold on some things. And when you get there and go through it, it's really not the case. Did I learn some stuff? Yeah, I learned a lot. But I feel like I could have learned the same amount just going to a regular community college with a decent automotive program. They teach you the basics, how a piston goes up and down, how an engine works, how brakes work, how suspension works. Get you basics in electrical. I don't recommend the big dollar schools. They're way too much money. Last kid that I talked to that was going to one, he was in like the full package program, and it was like $45,000, and that's just insane. That's way too much debt to throw down on this, and all you have is a piece of paper from that school that says they taught you how to work on cars. You don't have an associate's degree. You don't have any sort of degree to fall back on if you decide you don't want to work on cars. You have no gen ed classes. I don't think the big dollar schools are worth it. I kind of regret going to one. I do and I don't, because, you know, going to the big dollar school, you know, I eventually met my wife and stuff, so it's worth it. But so now you go to school, you come out of school, you got to get yourself a job. I'm gonna recommend trying to get into a dealership, just because if you get into a dealership, a manufacturer, they'll send you to manufacturer specific training. So again, you get even more schooling, and you can get somebody else to pay for it. Usually it don't cost you nothing. Some places will actually pay you a full day's pay to go to school, and they're going to teach you a lot of the basics, but they're going to get more in specific of whatever brand you're working on, how they do certain things and stuff like that, how they wire the cars and all that stuff. The biggest thing you have to learn, the hardest thing you'll have to learn, is electronics. You got to be able to diagnose electrical problems. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I want to work on cars, but I don't want to do electrical. Then you might as well just quit, because everything's electronically controlled now. You got to learn it. It's tough to learn, but you got to learn it. You got to be able to diagnose, you know, wiring problems, and they're only getting more complicated. You know, it's not just a simple circuit. Now you have, you know, CAN communication. Used to be there was like one CAN system in a car, and then there was two, and then, you know, they communicate through a gateway. Now there's like 4 or 5 CAN systems in a car, you know, separate systems, because there's just so much electronics in a car now. But so now you got your education about getting to the dealership. Next thing I'm going to tell you to do: stay off the tool truck. I love it when these young kids start, and they got a big shiny toolbox. You got a freaking car payment for a toolbox. Stay off the tool trucks. Now, the big dollar tools, you're going to need them eventually if you decide to stay in the field. You do not need them starting out. The only thing I'm going to tell you to spend some money on is an impact gun. The cheap impact guns, they're still going to run you 75, 80, 100 bucks, and they're a piece of shit, and they're only going to last you a year. Go spend 150 bucks, get yourself an IR-231. Ask anybody who's working on cars to tell you it's a good impact gun, and that's about the only thing you need to really spend money on right out of the gate. You don't need expensive sockets, you don't need expensive wrenches, you don't need expensive ratchets. I mean, don't get like a really cheap ratchet, but, you know, Home Depot Husky ratchet works pretty good. It'll get you a couple of years in, and then, you know, eventually you're going to upgrade and spend a lot of money on a ratchet. For what you spend on 1/3/8 ratchet off a tool truck, you could almost get a good basic set to get you in the door and get you, being a lube tech. Stay off the tool truck. Those guys are going to come in every week, and they're going to pretend like you're your best friend, and they're going to try and sell you shit you don't need being a lube tech. I watch kids do it all the time. Like, you get thousands of dollars in debt, you owe this guy a ton of money, And then he talks to it in a toolbox too. And these big dollar toolboxes are nice. You know, they do last a lot longer. You know, they'll last you the lifetime of your career. But they're no more secure than any other box. I can break into any manufacturer box pretty quick. Some of them even have, you know, plates you can quickly drill off and pull the locks up if you lose your keys. Like, they are not, all they do is keep honest people out. Just stay off the tool truck. There's no reason for it. So you got in the field, you got yourself your basic tools. You know, you got to find good people to work under. You got to find people that are going to put forth an effort and teach you how to do it. I was very fortunate. I had a lot of guys, you know, that were really, really helpful and extremely patient. You know, because I'm going to be honest, when I'm training the young guys, I don't have that much patience. I do yell a lot. But I worked under some pretty patient people, and they taught me a lot. You got to get into somebody that's going to help you, because you don't know shit. I'm going to be honest. You don't know shit until you get in the field. You think you understand the basics and theory and all that's bullshit when you get in the field. Because theory doesn't mean anything in the real world. You got to find people that are going to work with you. You got to find a dealership that's going to work with you and put the forth and effort into. Because some of these places, you'll get in there, and then all you'll do is oil change. You are a lube tech. That is all you are going to do is be a lube tech. They aren't going to teach you things. They're not going to help you move up. They don't want to put forth the money. You know, there's a good chance they've probably been burned in the past. You put a lot of time and energy into somebody, a lot of money into them. It costs a lot of money when you break stuff for them. You have to pay to fix it. You put a lot of effort into somebody. You train them up. You think they're going to work for you for, you know, a good amount of years, and then they run off and go somewhere else because they'll pay them an extra 50 cents an hour. But you gotta, you can't come in with a chip on your shoulder. You know something, because you don't. You gotta work with people, and you gotta take some shit. I mean, you'll sit there and fight with something for 10, 15 minutes, and you can't get it. And so I finally ask for help, and these guys will come over. I do it all the time. Walk over, boom, do it in 2 seconds and walk away. And you feel dumbfounded. You feel like an idiot, but that's part of the learning process. So, biggest thing I can tell you when you get in the field, don't put a lot of money into it. Go to community college, get a basic education, you know, get a basics on how cars work, get into a good establishment. Don't spend a ton of money on tools. You don't need it. And then, you know, if you decide you're going to do this the rest of your life, the next 30, 40 years, then obviously you are going to spend some money on the tool truck. You're going to get yourself some good ratchets, screwdrivers, wrenches, stuff like that. You're going to spend $5, $6 grand on a good toolbox, because the cheap ones aren't going to hold up, but they will last long enough for you to figure out whether or not you're going to do this for the rest of your life. And again, save up some money and go buy a toolbox. You find them all day online for $2, $3 grand. Brand new boxes, big boxes. You know, these kids buy them and then they decide they don't want to do it. No, they're probably still paying on it while they're hawking the box for $2 grand. But that's a quick intro into what you could, some do's and don'ts when you get into the field. And a couple of things I noticed, and I always try and tell young kids when they come in, or don't do this, don't do that, and then they don't listen to do it anyways. But don't spend a ton of money. I can't harp on that enough. Don't go $40,000, $50,000 in debt in school and tools to do it for a year and a half and be like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. Now, I'm going to give you some advice. I'm going to end the video with what I was told when I started, you know, portering at a dealership, and they knew I was going to school. And they all told me the same thing. Quit now, get out, go do something else. Don't be an auto mechanic. I mean, sometimes I wish I would have listened to them, but at the same time, I've made a pretty decent career out of it. I make decent money, and you know, I'm able to support my family. But it's because I did listen to them as I was going through the training process. You know, they told me don't buy a toolbox. You know, I didn't buy a toolbox. You know, don't spend money here. Buy this, buy that. And you listen to these guys, and they tell you what you do and don't need. You don't give them attitude. You listen to, when they make fun of you, you just sit there and take it. Then as you get older, then you can turn around and make fun of other people too. But anyways. So that's gonna end today's video. Remember, don't spend too much money. It's not worth it. See you guys next time.